everybody. Look at that. That's a horrible day. But you know, I don't mind. I'd say we have had over 14 days of no rain. So the ground is so dry and the plants were just trying to keep up with the watering was crazy. The IBC was emptying within a couple of days. I'm so glad of this. And yet I do know that once I get back out there and we get, I think we've got sort of 4 days now of kind of on-off rain. This being the worst, today being the worst, I think. I just know, yeah, after the 4 days, everything will just have whoosh. There'll be huge greenery. Probably should have got around to mowing my grass. Today is miserable. But you know, that's okay because I am back to... I've finished really this room, but I just have a few pieces where I have to go over. This is where the plasterboard meets the backer board together on this line. And I had plastered it. I had put the scrim tape and plastered it. Definitely needed a bit more because the scrim tape was showing through and it needed to be just sort of leveled off a bit better. That part needs to be done around this beam. Needs to be done on both sides. Stone wall meets the plasterboard needs to be addressed. They're actually tricky enough parts because I really need the plaster very dry to get it to stay there. And my bucket of plaster, as you can see, is very wet. In fact, it nearly takes a full 12 hours for it to dry. My corner is nearly dry. You can just see where there's a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of pink in this section. But it's taken a week or more to dry. There was a lot of plaster put in that corner, so it's held up by plaster. But no, it's worked out really, really well, and we're really happy because we actually used a little bit of the old bag and the new bag together. And Mike was a little bit worried that maybe they wouldn't work, and maybe chemically they mightn't set. But no, they seem to have worked together, which is great because it means wherever I have big gaps, I know that I can just come over again with the ready-made stuff and go again. Will I buy another tub of this ready-made stuff? I'm not sure. I do quite like the bag as well. The bag is something like €15. €15 for this one. And this is €50. Big difference in price, and okay, it takes time to mix it up and get it right. You know, it's not the end of the world to do it. And now that I feel a little bit more confident about it, kind of tempted I might just go back to the bag again. We'll see, as long as it's not gone off. So I'm just going to finish this little section here, plaster this up while you're here. I've got a bit better now with the old plastering, I have to say, and I actually enjoy it. At the start, it took a lot to get into it, but now, and especially since my apprenticeship with Mike, my neighbour, who's just been just so good in helping us with so many things, is a wealth of knowledge. I feel quite confident about it. So I just had a go at filling up around this beam with the plaster, and actually it's worked quite well. I'm going to leave it at that. I've asked Rob and he helped me to move. We had shower panels, glass panels. This is one of them. There are 2 glass panels going in here for our shower, one shorter one and one. Then we had in the hall here, just stored against the wall, we had both of the kids' ones as well. It's ridiculously dark in this corridor, but I'm going to just set up to try and get going up here. You're coming through to me. How are you, clever doggy? Are you a clever doggy? Oh, somebody's doing some serious. Oh, Rue, no, through this one, through here. Rue, you can't get through there. Jesus. Okay, gosh, very dark up here. But maybe you can see something. I got going with the other plaster, the dead bag, as we call it, because that's really handy for filling any holes. So I've got quite a gap here where the 2 pieces of plasterboard meet on the ceiling. Mike suggested doing a curve there. So I filled all of that with the dead bag. And now I scrim taped it all. God, I don't think you can see anything. I'll have to get a light and shine it up here. I don't even know if you can see me. I'm sitting on the top of the scaffolding in the dark. We have a light. Right, we have ventured outside, haven't we, Rooney? Dog is absolutely obsessed with some pigeons that are, I don't know what they're trying to do, nest in the barn. Anyway, thought I'd better go and check the greenhouse. Got my boots on and we're going to check out what's going on in here. Now last night, oh man, Rob got dug me some topsoil. They are peas. So peas all the way along, and then the big lanky ones in the middle are sunflowers. Looks like we got away scot-free from the slugs. Well, I am going to have to do slug patrol tonight on these. And then before I realised I had to put this sweet corn out, I just bought 6 grow bags. I started the peas in them as well. The sweet corn have just gone into these grow bags. What I've done is I've put cardboard underneath, fingers are full of plastic, cardboard underneath. I've cut a long hole all the way underneath as well, like the top, so they can go straight through into the ground. And my plan will be, once they've sort of found their feet a bit, I will just take the plastic away. I'd also like to mulch all of these. Still didn't get a chance to finish mulching the beans, but we're getting there. However, the sweet corn doesn't look too bad actually, and it looks a whole lot better being outside. I put it here because we sort of have this long grass at the edge of the circle, and that's kind of acting as a bit of a windbreak.
Good morning everybody. Start of another brilliant week down here in West Cork. Last week was awful. We're going to try and move on, but that also meant that the editing got delayed, which means the start of this week got a little bit delayed also. The primary goal this week, what was the primary goal? Oh yes, I want to continue with the white concrete. Basically, we quite like what happened with this work surface. We like those work surfaces. We kind of thought we might do the same sort of a strip of white concrete on top of our little stone area here. I did have some wood that I thought would be nice to go across it. It's just we have some pieces of the wall that come out and go back in. Now this looks like there's a little strip of render kind of that's on it, but actually it's just big stones, so we kind of have to come out to that size at its widest, then it's going to overhang a little bit here. Anyway, this was looking a little bit complicated in wood, and we did think about raising it back up with stone. Again, we just weren't sure how the aesthetic would look. When we saw this work surface up here though, we think, wow, do you know what, using the same mix it would look brilliant here. And then, I don't know, will we go floating? But we kind of thought that would be a nice little seating area. We have a couch here, but that would be a nice additional seating area, put a few cushions or something. But also to carry it out here where you'd put your little photo frames, your Alexa, your, I don't know, whatever you want basically. So my job now is basically to tidy a little bit, move a little bit of this junk. Plasterboard, we wanted to save as much, but when we did the bathroom with the spare bits of plasterboard, it was just a disaster. So I don't know if I want to chuck it yet. One of the commentators said we could compost it. I might try that, but for the meantime I think I'm just going to put it down in one of the barns. I have a few shelves to put into the units as well, but for me today I would like to clean, frame, and then tomorrow pour the white concrete. Also, just to, because it's been a while now. I want to take off the plastic. I want to take off the frame. I want to have a good look what our work surface really looks like, because it was a bit of a disaster trying to get it on. So we're very curious to see how it ended up. Basically, I want to get this room ready for paint. So that's why I want to build this little thing all along the wall and here, which I think will take a lot of concrete. And then I'm in two minds about whether I want to tile this or whether I leave this till later. As I say, I want the room ready for paint, but if I do want to tile it, that will mean just opening up this and doing the connections here as simple as possible, because this is very thick gauge. And we kind of want to access this panel so that I can make the connections for this isolator switch. We bring the tiles then down just a little bit beneath the height of the cooker, and then we can slide this back in and we're all done. Happy days. So I am going to, I think, tidy up first, then I'll give us a little bit of a reveal. I'll see you in a few minutes. Good afternoon. I had a curious day today. I did take the top off and then cover the top with shit, but anyway, yeah, I'm happy enough with it. This is close to the sort of finish that we're going to be looking at with the aggregates. It's quite cream. It's not as white as we hoped, but so be it. It's not the worst. Can I show you this? Hang on a sec. Overall, the top is exactly where we want it. We're very happy with this. It's going to take a very light polish to get where we need it to be. And the bottom is a different story. You can clearly see two levels. This is our first level, and that just wasn't right. If you remember, the aggregate was too big, so it was very jaggedy, so we quickly added a second layer. That's actually not a problem at all. What is a problem is these air pockets. Because we had two levels, when we vibrated it, we got the top level really smooth, but for some reason the bottom level wouldn't go smooth, so that seems to be fairly consistent the whole way along, you know. Top is perfect, bottom ain't the best. There's only a few places we want to fill, but where it is quite bad is in the corner here of where the sink is going to go, and on this side where the sink is going to go. Really weird how the top is perfect but the bottom ain't. So those two spots, one or two more, we're actually going to try and fill up. This is not going to be an issue. Let me show you. So I have an angle grinder. We have the grinder that Clare has, but that's quite a high-speed grinder. We have an angle grinder with a grit 50 floppy disk, and I put this down on the slowest setting. And then we just very gently go over it. And we get something like this, which actually perfectly smooth between the two levels. There's probably just a little bit more I can sand back. But that gets us flat and it starts to expose the aggregate. I'll do a little bit more at the bottom here and so forth. But at this point then, I can take this back and start to polish it. I'm happy enough with that finish. So this is pretty much where we want to be. I mean, this side came out perfect though. This side came out perfect because we didn't have to add any extra here. We actually just prepared it with the correct height, because we did this the following day. So overall, quite chuffed with that. Claire's quite happy as well. Bonus. I had a dilemma. I had some leftover, as you remember, I had some leftover countertop material from when I did these. Now I didn't show you for some reason, but quickly I had half a bucket, and before it went off, I actually went down to the workshop and I built a form, and I really quickly poured it I let it sit up for a day or two, and we were really happy with it. It was like, yes, the job's done. Let's drive on with projects. I just went out to it, not yesterday, the day before. And I was just unscrewing the screws, and I don't know, just lost its balance, and well, I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the form. I very quickly knocked up. I decided to do something I saw online, which is just do the cement at the front of the block so it looks like the whole thing is block. Then you use a piece of wood at the back just for support, and you just keep the whole center hollow like this for drains and so forth. So I put a piece of wood along here. I filled up my block perfectly, and just when I was unscrewing it, it just had a little bit of a wobble, and that's where my block ended up. It's a shame though. It was a pretty good job. It's a nice melamy finish. Oh well. This goes to fill some project. I didn't actually lose much because this was spare material, but Claire was with me actually, and I was unscrewing it and chatting to Claire, and then it had a speed wobble, and I just heard a thud, and I was like this. I looked at Claire and I said, I don't want to look down, and Claire was like, look. And after what seemed like an eternity, I didn't hear it get back put together. I looked down and it was all smashed. So I was waiting till I did these stone wall inside. I did the white concrete on that, and I was going to make a new one. But it seems we're going with the old chestnut, that old chestnut. So I am going to keep the form, and I don't know. Once I figure out what I'm doing with the TV, there might be a bit of concrete in that. So I might do something else then. I'll keep the form until tomorrow. I'll do the old piece of chestnut now. Okay, well, we're back in the kitchen, and I had a little time lapse for you. One of the things we wanted to do, because we're quite happy with this countertop now, is to do a little piece under the windows, which I'll just show you now. That was always looking quite green, and this is because, well, the outside isn't pointed and the inside isn't pointed, but there's kind of a cement render on top of a lime render, and all the moisture is just trapped. There's a time lapse of me taking it off, which I'll show you now, and it actually came off quite quick. And behind the cement there was some nice lime, and that lime was just drenched. And behind the lime there was actually clay. So there's 5 different walls, and what I was gonna do was put the white cement on top with maybe a kind of I don't know, like that much of an overhang to make a kind of a bench that you could sit on. But when Claire saw the stone work on the wall, she wasn't keen on the bench. She wanted a kind of a softer approach. Now, we had said originally we were going to put these kind of chestnut sleepers or scaffolding boards we found against the wall, but then we changed when we saw how good the white concrete was, and I think now we're going back to the sleepers. So this is what we look like at the moment. I need to tidy this up and we see what else needs to be pulled out. But you can see here bits of clay, you can see here some of the lime, and at the end you can see some more of the cement. At the top you can see some of the concrete that we just had to put the to tie up these blocks as we put in the beam for the window. I need to tidy up this and see if there's any more to chisel out, and at that point we'll actually go, we took the render off the front, but now we're going to take out a little bit of the lime in between the stones and just get it ready to be repointed. And then I am going to take these pieces of wood down to the workshop. I'm going to try and, I don't know, sand or plane them. I don't want to take too much because there's a bit of old character and patina on them, but I'll see how I go. And then I am going to, we have a big stone in the middle there from where Claire filled in the wall, or maybe I did. There was a window, there was an opening here, we filled that in. What I need to do is level this, which means probably putting a stone or two there. I need to drill some bolts, some 90-degree or maybe some U-bolts into the base of the timber beam. And then when I set some mortar and stones behind it, it'll just tighten up there, and this will probably form a nice feature shelf. I have two of these boards. It comes exactly to the middle here, which is quite nice. And then I'll put the second board down there, and I'll have to trim a little bit off the end. I'll get this part done first, so we're not going for white concrete. I'll get this done first. Then I need to finish off tidying here. I need to build a frame for the television mount and electronics and stuff, but I'm not sure what to do there. I'm going to go away and do some Googling tonight. We're going to clear out all of this, and tomorrow I'm going to have a think about what we want to do. I would say give us some ideas below in the comments. I'm not sure I'll have it done. I'm hoping to have it done by the time this goes out, but on the off chance I haven't, hit me up with some TV mounted units. Like, we don't want wires, we don't want phone chargers, so maybe I'm thinking about a drawer to just charge laptops, phones and stuff inside there. And maybe a place just to put, we have an Alexa and we have a few other things which we can add there. A sound bar actually. Got this cheap sound bars, like 20 quid off Amazon. But then we got a TV that had like, what's it called? Dolby Atmos sound, I believe. So whilst this soundbar would be pretty cool, it'll look nice, it won't be Atmos. So even though it's 20 quid, maybe I'll use it inside. I'm not sure, but if we were to use the soundbar, I'd kind of like want it somewhat hidden on this machine or this wall. I don't want any cables. So that's what I'm thinking. I am going to take the chestnut down. I've just cleared up in here. Well, it doesn't really look cleared up, does it? But I'm going to take the chestnut down to the workshop, and I am going to do more clearing with my new workbench, which is like always a mess, and I'm going to see what I can do to tidy this up. Catch you down there. Ugh. Way more screws on that side. I'm not sure what way to go. I'm thinking sanding. I don't necessarily want to plane it, but I'll try to plane first. Sandpaper is really rough. This is a lot better. It's still keeping a little bit of the age, but yeah, I like this. I like that finish. Okay. A little bit more to see how we get on. Alright, I don't want it looking too new. There's a bit of a story to this. We found this in a field in North Cork and it was just disregarded, so we thought, I'm not sure what it'll be good for, but it'll be good for something. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking off a little bit of the dirt, a little bit of the growth, a little bit of the old age, dead spiders, and I think this little bit of the green, bit of the brown, a little bit of a burnt look. Happy enough with that actually. Okay, let's continue. Now, I like things like that where there's indents where it was clamped against something. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nice. Like a lot of things, it could be perfect on this project, but really the imperfections are perfect. So I'll offer this up to Claire. Hopefully she will be accepting, and I'll do the second one. Good morning, folks. It's an early one. We had a walk this morning, so it's about 8:30. We're going to get a lot done today. Claire was very, very happy with the piece of wood that we have here. I think it's going to look lovely on top of our stone wall. I originally wanted to do the concrete because it would come out past the wall and just overhang. Claire wants the wood to just soften things a little bit, and I do think that looks nice. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but this old wall is really interesting. I still have to we actually did a photo shoot last night, so Claire forced me to not shoot up. Photo shoot, I mean, like for the thumbnail, so we didn't use that, but I threw it in for good measure. So anyway, this morning I'm gonna have to clean up unless I can talk Claire into doing it. But I just wanted to show you that I believe that there was, at one point, there was a doorway here. You can see how that little piece has just been filled up. And then this was the actual wall. For some reason, this has a very strong render on it here. So I need to just take this render off. And it's like there was something that was filled up here as well, because this is slate. You can see, or it's the kind of slate that's been filled in. It's not a good stone. It's not a faced stone like down there. So that's interesting. But anyway, we have a doorway, we believe. We have the old wall, something weird here. We have the old window. And then we have the old wall down here again. I find it fascinating how all of these things are built and the layers of history that you unveil. Anyway, my jobs are tidy. Get the second one of these sanded and ready to go. Line it up here. I have to cut around the corner, which is pretty cool. I can't remember why we made it like this, but yeah, I can't remember at all. But we're gonna get the wood sit around it, so that's gonna be a nice little feature. And then, before I set it, because I just want everything in place, because I just want to aesthetically see what I'm going to do here, I'll see whether I complete this wall or I clean this and I get a frame outline for what I want done there. And then it's moving on to finish off this place. We're getting close, folks.
Good morning. It is Monday morning. We are feeling full of beans this morning. I don't know why. We just got up early. We got up at 7, went for a walk with the dog, came back. It wasn't raining then, but now it's absolutely lashing. We feel full of beans, and I have already just finished off the hallway this morning. I had done most of it yesterday, so it's plastered. So I'm moving into the bathroom now. My goal would be to try and get this done, or at least first coat of plaster on all of these joints today. Yeah, we kind of struggled last week. We had just so much going on and just kind of lost a lot of motivation. I don't know why. I guess everybody or anybody who's going through this sort of a process, every now and again you just sort of get a bit depressed about it, and that hasn't happened often to us at all. But just last week, I think, and I had the digger was coming and then it wasn't coming and then it was broken and blah blah. We were waiting on the electrician to come and we haven't been waiting for him for the last fortnight. So yeah, it's just been a really, got my tripod now, I have to go in one door and out the other door because the scaffolding is in the way. Yeah, so we just kind of struggled. And you know, you put yourself under pressure, and that's not a good thing. The progress seemed to be slow as well, so that kind of got us down a bit. So anyway, look, we're hoping this week now. Let's pull the finger out, and one half of this bathroom done, and I've run out of all of the last bag of the dead plaster. This is actually a really important thing to highlight to anybody who is doing any gonna attempt any plastering. We obviously bought the majority of everything we needed for the house within a couple of months of buying the house, and so the plaster was sitting for more than probably 6 months, and so it was gone off by the time we came to use it. Thankfully you can still use it to fill holes, really big gaps, so that's what I used it for. But we also bought another bag. It's this sort of brown stuff that's going up here now. Doesn't look as great, but it's going to be all painted anyway, but it does dry much lighter. That's actually called, what's that called? Oh, that's just called Gyprock Skim Coat. And I'm not sure if it's meant to be used for filling holes like this. It seems to go in just as well as the other stuff. It dries, when it dries a bit sort of sandy. So I'll have to see how I go with that, but I just want to fill the majority of the holes so that I can come over then with the last bit of the ready-made stuff and patch up anything that's uneven. That's the plan anyway. Where's my corner? I took down the bath mat, we might be able to see. Just want to finish that corner. So yeah, no, the moral of the story with both of the plasters is that don't buy it until you really need it. We budgeted everything within coming here, within a couple of months of coming here. Rob did all of that. He's just ridiculously good at budgeting what we need and working out the maths. And so we've been falling out over stuff, but at the same time it was nice to have everything to hand. And like even now, okay, yeah, we'll have to go and buy a bit more plaster, but this is still really wet, which is not really how I wanted it. I shove this lid back up for now. But anyway, yeah, the plaster especially is something you can't buy before you need it, because yeah, it goes off.
G'day folks, quick update from the kitchen. I was doing some research about when I could start polishing of the work surface. We're very keen to get it going. We think it's going to look amazing. And we read online that you had to wait till the work surface was dry. Some people say wait 28 days, which we can do. It's a month, it's not a big deal. But it's just concrete dries at different places at different rates. So we also read that you have to wait until the concrete is 4% moisture content. Now we have a moisture meter for our wood, and if I turn it on, I can see that our surface is currently at about 28% water. How can I hold that? Okay, actually that's 31% water. Now we could wait for it to get to 4%, but let me just take the measurement from the floor, because we poured this floor, I would say, around September last year. Let's take a measurement. Okay, so our floor is 17.6%. So maybe my meter is off, or maybe I'll just give this a few weeks. It's currently 30% water, which, you know, I only poured it like about 4 days ago. That's understandable. It's going to take a fortnight anyway. But maybe I'll just try and get it down to the floor level, which is about 18%. It seems very wet, like. I don't know how you'd speed up the... Maybe a dehumidifier? I don't know. If somebody knows a little bit more about concrete polishing, like what percentage should it be? We obviously want to leave it go nice and hard before we grind it, because we don't want to risk tearing out the edges. But any tips, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, we'll just keep trying to finish off the other parts in the kitchen while we wait for this. I have figured out some way how I want to build these, I think. I have them cut to size. There's a nice little touch in the bottom corner where I have a little piece of stone that comes up, so that's cut out. But there's an awful lot to fill in order to get it up to this height, which is annoying. I wish I thought about that a little bit more at the time. I have a lot to fill down there. Thankfully, I don't know if you can see it here, we have tons and tons of stones outside. Some really nice big ones here, which actually came from the wall, so no harm putting them back in. And yeah, I'm gonna find the stones. I'm gonna get a little mix going probably, and I'm just going to place them at the height, and then keep a nice bed on the top to put the timber on. If I can get this side done, then this whole wall is ready for paint. And then I just need to figure out this TV. Slow going, lots of figuring out. I'm gonna get a brush, maybe a hoover. I don't want to, like, if you go too hard, you know, you're gonna pull off a little bit of stone. But I just want to take off some of the dry clay and have a nice surface for a little bit of mortar to attach to. I might try on time lapse later, but I'm still thinking, so I don't necessarily want to record thinking. Slow going is thinking. Catch you later. So I'm just doing a little bit of prep on the top. I have a stiff brush for getting bits of clay out, just giving the stones a nice edge to adhere to the lime. And then I have a soft brush, which I'm just really getting the dust off. But the soft brush is broken. Claire said it was fine to use, but I just gave a really huge slit through my hand, and I'm getting blood all over the brush, so I think I better go and sort it out. Let that be a note to you. I've done some amount of jobs on this house, mostly without incident, but brushing or cleaning. So a word to the lads, stick to the building. This cleaning lark's dangerous. You want to be really prepared for it. Bernie, I'm a bit busy. Can you take your ball away? So we have the wood secured. It's not the prettiest, but we must wait for it to dry, and then we will do the face. And at some point in the future, we might look at pointing. This is a nasty one because there's a curve in it. So one side was going to be wrong, the other correct. So we have both sides a little bit incorrect. Looks great.
Good afternoon. Gosh. Anyway, I am in the yard here. We've just come back from Skibbereen because I needed to get some of the items that I needed to show you what we're going to do next. We have, I realise now we're quite lucky, we have a pile of elderflower trees that grow along our perimeter here between our house, I suppose, and this little section of the field. You'll see there at the very top, they start there. There's 2 trees there with the white flowers. The smell is incredible. I can't show you the smell on YouTube, but it's absolutely crazy. This is another one. There's a very old one on the corner here, covered with ivy, which it's going to be a mission of mine to try and get this looking a bit better, maybe attack it in the autumn and try and get rid of some of the dead out of it and the ivy. And then we have another one here, and this has some really good big blossoms at the top of it. Is that another one behind this gate? Yeah, maybe this is all the same tree. Perhaps is. It's all coming out of the same area at the bottom. This one is hawthorn, which is also flowering now as well. I can hear the buzz of bees here. I don't know if it's from the elderflower, the hawthorn, or both, but clearly my bees are coming up. What we've decided to do, because last summer we were just generously provided with a huge amount of elderflower cordial, and it's absolutely gorgeous, but we were not in a position to even start making it or doing anything with it. And one of the things I wanted to do this year was get going with it and see could we really get some made. And my lovely neighbour is the one that Liz, who has who generously brought us gallons of it last year. My son loves it. She's offered to help me make it. She's going to be down in a second. But my task is to collect 20 or 25-ish, I'll get more if I can, big heads of flowers off this tree. So I've got a ladder here, but I don't think my ladder is tall enough. So I might actually go in and get my other ladder. And we'll just see if we can get them. Apparently, and actually she's right, the best time to collect them is when the sun is out. The power of the perfume and the flavour is from the sun. Unfortunately, the sun, we've got very high cloud coverage, so it's still quite warm, and the sun is up there, but it's not able to come out. It's not coming out today. But anyway, tomorrow is a bad day and I know it's wet, so we've decided to try and do it today. Okay, I think I have enough. I'll have to ask the boss when she comes, but I think we have enough. We'll go inside and get going on it. So I come out of the tree. Come out of the tree with this. This is Liz, my neighbour. This is her recipe. And it's absolutely amazing, and I was dying to get going with it this year, even though we still don't have a kitchen. But anyway, here we are, and we're going to have a go off it. You saw me picking them. The lemons, I couldn't get lemons that weren't waxed. I googled it. You can just put them in boiling water, and that's what it looks like after it's been in boiling water. It's pretty gross. But anyway, the wax is off them now, and they're all ready to go. The sugar, the citric acid, and hot water, of course. So Liz, what's next?
Weigh your 3 pounds of sugar in this.
Oh yeah.
Get the sugar on it.
In pounds.
Yes.
No such thing as kilos.
I converted it.
4? You go on the sugar one here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So now you're going to put it into something and you're going to melt it with the hot water.
Okay, I'm going to do
It's
that.
½ pound.
So ½ pound. This is the big pot we're doing it in. It's about the only pot we have at the moment. It's big enough. That is just boiled.
You need 2.5 pints. So have a look at that.
2.5 pints. I haven't got my glasses. 2.5.
You can put a bit more. What are you up to?
2.5.
Go another bit. Go another bit. Yeah, that'll do enough. So put all your sugar in there. No, put in your sugar first.
Gone in.
No, but you need.
Oh, I need another one.
You need 3 pounds. That's only half
3
pound.
pounds. Sorry, that's only half a pound. God, I can't work with these pounds at all.
Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. Pounds, half pound. So this is 1.
Yeah. That's 1.5.
Yeah, well, we're not quite there. Not quite there. That's lovely. 1.5.
1.5 is 2.
This is just Aldi sugar. Nothing special about this sugar. Straight off the shelf this
1.5.
morning.
Give me another
2.
That's 3.
3. 3 sugar gone in. 2.5 pints of water.
And you get a wooden spoon.
And we get a wooden spoon.
You have to make sure it's melted. You might even actually have to put that on the stove if it's not melted properly. Maybe put it on the stove for a little bit.
So the sugar's in. It's sort of half melted, but not completely. Right.
Now, grate the rind off your 2 lemons. Sure, look, you do one and I'll
On
do
the
one.
block. So grate it right down to the white. Or the whole lot. How much are you taking off? Oh, quite a bit.
That's it, I'll do it.
But actually, someone was saying you can make nettle cordial.
Just
2?
Just 2. No.
Gosh, you're really getting all yours out.
I am not. Doesn't matter. Cut them up now, so.
How long have you been making this recipe, Liz?
Years.
Really?
Yeah.
Slice them up.
Yeah.
I'm very not sure. Cloudy. Is that normal? Or do you want it clear?
Okay.
No, sorry, no.
Yeah.
Not a minute, yeah. Right. Now.
Get as much green as you can off. I've got 1. You count yours. 3. Take that out.
Should I? Discolour it.
I've 20.
Okay, so I've 8.
20. That'll do.
That'll do?
Yeah. That doesn't really matter. That just gives a bit of flavour if you have more. Okay. And citric acid is only vitamin C. You know when you hear acid, you
Yes!
think,
Because we went into the chemist today and she was like, I don't know if we have any of that. And then the lady in the back goes, yes we do! Are you making jam? And yes, we
right,
are.
you want 2.5 ounces of that, so measured as the sugar.
2.5 ounces. Right.
I converted it to ounces, it was metric. That's okay.
So we're going
2.5 ounces.
2.5. Right.
That's 2. It's nearly up to 2.
Nearly. Oh, there we are.
Just give another a small one.
Small one.
Right.
Enough?
Yep. Throw that in.
Oh yes, we're good.
Yeah?
Well, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny little
No,
teaspoon. Keep it.
You can throw that in.
Right. In we go. Oh, it's bubbling.
Or take it off, so Clare.
Now my issue
Here you
is...
go. As you can see, there's nothing to it.
No.
Nothing. It's so simple.
I kind of think of it like it's going to be like jam and you have to stir it forever and all this.
You could try
I'll
your
just
lemon.
put it there for a second. Okay, right. Right, lemon's in. Looks good. It does have special properties, doesn't it?
Yeah. Pains.
Pains, yeah. Like... I know. And then Rob's dad came yesterday and said, the only reasons you find elderflower in a Church of Ireland garden or something is because the Judas Iscariot
Judas Iscariot, yeah?
was hung from an elderflower tree.
Oh, stop it.
I was like, really?
What did I say to you that they were only growing in...
Yeah, I know.
Now stir away. And you're supposed to stir it twice a day for the 5 days. But if you do it once a day, it's okay. And like when you're doing it, bash the lemons as well.
Bash the lemons. Do you know what? The lemons were actually really good because they were kind of a little bit soft from being in the boiling water. So I think that might have helped.
Yeah.
Oh, the smell of it.
Isn't it divine?
It is.
And I didn't get
like
that
I was saying to you earlier, that when you brought down that other bottle that you had just recently, last year's, it was
got
so
better.
fresh.
It got that was frozen, you say.
I know, but it's so fresh, like, and just looks
So
amazing.
if you're going to freeze any of it, Claire, I'd say put it in plastic bottles.
I know, plastic cartons or something.
Milk bottles.
Milk bottles, yeah, maybe. Now, so they're all stirred in.
Cover it. And stir it twice a day for 5 days.
Twice a day for 5 days. So we'll be back for that one.
Turn them off now. We'll make the
Yeah,
second
turn
one.
it off, yeah. Right, so we're on the next step of the elderflower. This has been sitting now for 5 days. This is the 6th day. Maybe I could actually just show you what it looks like. The smell out of the pot is incredible. I'm going to scoop it all out, pop it into this bowl. Liz had very kindly offered me a sieve. But I actually find once you have the muslin over a big bowl, we're okay. So I'm just going to get all the syrup out. Nearly there. Hold on, pegs. Scoop everything out. The lemon, the sugar, the elderflower florets. Oh, I just got it all over my jumper. Oh well. Now, so now what I plan to do is gather up the sides carefully. And what I'm going to do, because we did this in our last house with some grapes that we had. Oh, it's all going wrong. Oh gosh, that was lucky. I might have just got a few elderflower flowers in there. But look, that'll add a bit of something exciting to look at in the bottle. So when I've got it all gathered up, I suppose ideally a little bit bigger muslin for this size. Gather it all up, tie around my elastic band, and then what I'm going to do, which is what I was saying to you, is rather than squeeze it all out, I'm going to make a little knot here and I'm going to hang it. I haven't yet decided where it's going to hang from, but hang it like that and let it drip for a couple of hours. Real golden. I'll show you in a second. And that's the next step. And then I'll show you the last one because I've just fished out a few really nice bottles from the barn. Actually belong to my neighbour Liz because she gave them to us last year and I saved them all. And we'll put them into the bottles. And put it into the bottles. And that'll be the last step. The Elderflower Cordial. Morning. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened here, but for some reason the sound didn't come through. So you'll just have to listen to me from the studio, aka the snug, where my lovely dog is snoring away here next to me in the chair. So if you hear some funny noises, you'll know what that is. So here you can see I have my big bowl of cordial ready to go. You can see I hung it there from the shelf above in the larder unit behind me, and I hung it there all night, and as a result the muslin is completely dry. That contains just the flowers and the lemon. That was the excess. So now I'm going to use my funnel and I'm going to pour it into my glass bottles Oh, now I'm going to use my jug. It's a lovely little jug that I found in the house here when we moved in. I gave it a good old scrub and put some boiling water through it, and it's ideal for dipping into the bowl and pouring straight into the bottles. So I was quite surprised actually at how much cordial you get in one bowl full. I could easily have filled 4 or 5 glass bottles with this. Unfortunately, I only had 2, so I've actually kept the rest in the bowl in the fridge covered with cling film, so that I could pop it into the bottles when I have more of them. So that's one bottle done, and Rob will kill me for putting it on his newly poured work surface, but it was fine and it was clean and there was nothing running down the side. So, and into the second bottle, same again. I'm not sure how long you could keep these for. I also must just ask Liz if these need to be kept in the fridge. I'm going to keep mine in the fridge, but I don't know if you could store these on the shelf.
I'd say you could store them for a very long time. Lemon doesn't really go off the citric acid. The only
Yes,
thing
there
that
is
would go off would be the
preservative.
skin.
Yeah.
So the lemon should make it last for several months.
So that's the system. And I had great plans to go out that night and pick another 30 florets of flowers, but I didn't get there yet. However, today is an amazing day and I will be back up the ladder.
Floret sounds very fancy. Bunch?
That's what they are, florets.
Florets, yeah.
Yes.
Florets. We're going to give these about a week to settle, and then we're going to come back with a couple of different ways to enjoy our Elderflower Cordial. So that wraps up another episode, guys. Thanks for watching and genuinely being an awesome community.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Slán go fóill.
See ya.